This website could be making £75,000 per month, and yet it's got a domain rating of just 1.8 from 48 backlinks from just 19 websites. Even crazier than that is I just went onto the page to see if I could find any on-page tricks they've been doing, and it's come up with error 403 forbidden. So it looks like they're achieving this #1 ranking whilst also having lots of issues with uptime. It appears they're hosted on Lightspeed, and I know Lightspeed have been having some vulnerabilities recently. Either way, it just goes to prove if you've got a #1 ranking site in a high-ticket niche, it doesn't necessarily mean you've got a full team working behind you, constantly monitoring the website, or you've got the best hosting in the world. I think there's always this fear with Rank and Rent that we're dealing with big numbers, and of course we're dealing with people. Now the biggest leap of faith most of us have to make is actually that conversion tracking, in terms of we do actually need to speak to real people, and we need to keep that conversation going, because the chances are there's not going to be a particularly reliable form of tracking besides recalling calls or form submissions. It's not like affiliate where you send all these clicks and then money just automatically drops into your affiliate account. Now, despite being down and not having a huge amount of authority, this site isn't ranking by accident because it has been going for quite a long time. We can see right back to 2019, it was ranking pretty well. But let's address these actual numbers, because nothing here looks that impressive. Obviously with Rank and Rent, we want to be dealing with particularly high ticket niches. And as I say, the key to that really is getting out and talking to people. Now, in my one-page website course, I'll leave a link to sign up below, so that as soon as the course actually goes live and is finished, you can get your copy. There will be a small number of free copies for the first people to sign up on the list. But I explain how the key to Rank and Rent really is getting those conversations in before you even start, and how you can actually find these goldmine niches by talking to the right people and making that process as streamlined as quick as possible. And in my case, this resulted to talking to one contractor who basically said my initial niche idea was really not that good. It was quite competitive niche and quite low margin. So in order for them to actually price competitively in the quote, they wouldn't be able to pay a big commission. So whatever commission we charge for the lead, that's still got to be competitive for the actual customer. So I was looking for 15%, but they said for my initial niche, the maximum they could pay was 8%, which is still not bad on a high ticket service. But then they gave me some examples of other niches where they could pay 15%. And this niche was actually one of them. Now, in terms of these numbers, already, 113 traffic is pretty good going. The traffic value isn't particularly high, but when you get to these low-level traffic numbers, then it's quite difficult to get an accurate estimate there. The fact is, if we just assume that this website converts at, say, 10%, then that's 11 conversions per month. So if we say the average ticket price is £50,000 and I get 15% of that, then that's £7,500 per sale. So times that by 11, then obviously we get to £75,000 per month. Now, I'm not a big fan of those kind of estimates because you've got too many moving parts. The conversion rate could vary wildly. The quality of lead could vary wildly. And as we know, this traffic number can vary a lot. The good news is this traffic number is very much an estimate, because with Rank and Rent, we're dealing with local search terms. Now, local search terms using a tool like Ahrefs do get a little bit complicated because no tool gives you exact search volume from that location. There are one or two, but they're much more expensive. So while we can go into Ahrefs and find a local search term like plumber London, the fact is most people are just going to use the broader keyword of plumber and let Google geo-target the search for them. Because Google's pretty good at that. Certainly over the last few years, we've seen the results get more and more tailored. So they tend to differ on mobile and desktop. No keyword tools are really tracking that too effectively. But they're also incredibly geo-targeted. So in my case, I'm in London. If I just put in plumber, then the results I get are London plumbers. Now watch what happens if I put in plumber into Ahrefs. So we've got 12,000 national searches. And if we come down here, then we actually see all the results are in Glasgow. Because in this particular instance, this is where Ahrefs is searching for. So every single one of these is Glasgow. So if we look at the top results, Glasgow Plumbing Services, Glasgow City Plumbers, JSL Plumcom, Glasgow Plumber, and that is completely different from what I'm getting in London. Same keyword, plumber in the UK, but I've got plumber in London, my plumber London, Pimlico Plumbers London, plumbers near me in London, and actually near me keywords are affected by the exact same issue. So you might find with Ahrefs that you have high volume for near me, you write a blog post for it, and you are actually able to rank for plumbers near me, but the data is going to be very unreliable because it depends on where Ahrefs is searching from. So what is my point here? Supposedly this DR 1.8 site is ranking for 85 keywords and gets 113 visitors per month. But Ahrefs is not able to tell us how much traffic it's getting from searches in the local area for the broad match keyword of just plumber or this particular niche. Instead, all of this is dependent on local searches, keywords that actually contain the location. Now, most people will just use the generic search and search for plumber, roofer, whatever the service is. But unless this website is actually in the location that Ahrefs is searching for, like plumbers in Glasgow, then that's not going to be reliable. So all this is showing us is the keywords that actually have the location in the keyword. And yet because far more people are likely to just use the broad match keyword, this number is actually likely to be much higher. And this is the real beauty of rank and rent, that yes, it's got a few more moving parts to it, but because of that you can find these untapped opportunities. And the fact there's unreliable data there, making it harder to get into, people are going to write it off much more easily. It means there are some of these goldmine niches out there. Now this one I discovered by accident while I was actually looking for examples in the course. I was going through my process and that's when I chanced upon this competitor. Now initially I actually paused the recording, but that meant that whole training had a really abrupt end to it. So coming back to edit it a week or so later, I thought no, this was a really nice discovery as part of that organic process of going through the course. So rather than delete that whole section, I kept it in, and in this course I reveal exactly what this niche is that I reckon is making more than £50,000 per month with a DR of just 1.8. So hopefully this video has been valuable for you, but if you do want to take it further, I encourage you to see all the steps at once, from the outreach and finding services to actually work with, to doing the keyword research, to building the site, to doing the backlinks, to managing the tracking process. All of that will be in the course. And like I say, this particular example, only a DR of 1.8, only 100 visitors per month in Ahrefs. The site is currently down, and yet I reckon they're doing more than £50,000 a month in commission. And the exact URL is revealed in the course for you to reverse engineer.